Go. Greetings, sweet dear ones, sweet dearly beloveds. Welcome to Huna Flash TV. It's an honor to be here with our special guests. And if you have questions, we'll do our best to answer them. This is live and interactive. Huna Flash TV at the House of Huna. Welcome to you all, and we look forward to being with you here. Enjoy. Okay, greetings, sweet dear ones, sweet dearly beloveds, and welcome to another edition of Huna Flash TV here today on this Unrata. Unrata means the 0 point light of the crystal, and in this language of Lemuria, the language of Kimuria, meaning the first embrace, the language of the first embrace. Okay. I'm really honored today and just so pleased to be able to sit here and spend some time with a very, very good friend of mine, Chief Runi Tafeaga. We spoke of also as Chief Afua. And let me just bring him right into here. He is the legend Chief Runi Tafeaga. Sometimes we called him Chief Afua. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let me say, and sometimes, dearly beloved ones, I refer to our elders as tuakana matua, like meaning our father, elderly father, brother. So I'm happy to welcome my father, brother here with us today. Good to have you.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me, Huna. It's been a while. We talk often, but this is an honor for me to be on and just share and chat with some things that we've lived through and experienced during our times together, and still experiencing, even though we're not physically close by.
Is it weird seeing my name being spoken of as Huna Flash?
It's yes, we've known each other for quite some time now, and we've done and attempted some, events and experiences in Las Vegas mainly. But just to be able to speak with you here through this medium of the TV, I'm just glad that we're able to still, keep the culture going and so forth. Just trying to always helping each other out in our times of needs, and not only ourselves but our brothers and sisters wherever we can. And I thank you for having me on.
Oh, it's an honor, and it's always wonderful to see you and talk to you. I'm grateful that we are still able to communicate. We send a text back and forth occasionally. I know these past months I have been very busy, and I understand where you are in Las Vegas. There, it's always evolving, always shaping itself somehow, and you're always flowing with it. Let me just begin by, if you could, this podcast, this live and interactive active session is themed as ancient ancestors or the ancient elders, and I've always regarded you as being that ancient ancestor elder here on the ground, who's been holding the school and holding the fale together for all of us, whoever comes along, young and older, to whoever came along and crossed your path, and you always put your hand out to support them. I would like you to, if you could, share a bit of your story from way back in Samoa, and then your journeys to Hawaii, and your journeys to the ninth island of Hawaii. I suppose that's what they call Vegas. Right? Just that journey, if you could, and share those experiences with us, Matua.
Thank you. First of all, I just
Well,
wanted
it might take some time, right? I know it might take some time, but
well, first of all, I just want to let everybody know that I just celebrated my 72nd birthday. So,
yay.
yeah. And when you say and ask me to, when I look back, I am amazed and surprised at our journey to get to where we are. How we end up here to where we are at this present time is always astonishing. And you look back and you say how and why. I don't know why and how. Well, it's been a long story. First of all, my mom and dad never married. I was what you call a one night stand in the islands. So I'm not disappointed. I'm glad they got together for that one night. You
We all are. Oh, we all are, I think.
72 years ago or whatever. But anyways, I've been I've been here in Las Vegas almost 40 years. But I started. I left the islands of Samoa and went to Hawaii because we were looking to further our education. So I went to high school in Hawaii and also attended the University of Hawaii there. And one one weekend doing my studies at the University of Hawaii, I was invited by some of my relatives who were performing in a Polynesian show in one of the hotels in Waikiki. And when I saw their performance and the bright lights and the pretty girls on stage, I said, "Oh my goodness, I think I need to get involved in that." So, anyways, long story short, that's how I ended up going to their rehearsals and asked to. I actually asked the owner of the production to see if I could just learn their dances and so forth. And he said yes. Now, through these dances and songs, a lot of which I had heard when I was young in the islands of Samoa, I was able to really see the culture because we had our schools back in the islands were not being taught or our culture was not being taught. We were studying the American history, because that's who we were under, but not a thing at all about our island culture, where we came from, how we came to be, and so forth. So when I started performing, it was listening to the songs and learning the choreography and the meaning of the songs. I started to really see, and that's what really piqued my interest in the culture, because for the first time I saw and understood things that I heard but never stopped to kind of listen to what they were really saying through those dances and songs. Mm-hmm. And then after a few years in Hawaii with Tihati's Polynesian Spectacular, I came to the mainland and so forth, and that eventually led me to Las Vegas and started to have my own production company and putting together different shows, mainly Polynesian shows. But we were also, and you were involved in some of those stuff when we met. We were performing top 40 music, so to speak, in some of the casinos, in their lounges.
Let me just jump in here.
Okay.
I know that all took some of these things took place a long time before I got there, but when you got to Vegas, there was a person that you were connected with there, and your agent became friend,
Yeah.
and I think I forget his name. I do remember that he was a martial arts expert or
Yes.
karate. Just
Yes.
a little bit about that evolution.
Yeah. Well, he was. His name was Dan Sawyer,
Mm.
and he, sorry to say, and he passed last year at the age of 95. Yes, and he originally came from Texas, but had started booking entertainment. Um, and we met through the shows that we did, and he asked if we wanted to travel to Japan with at one time. So we said yes, and from there in 1989 we formed a very strong bond, and he became like a father that I didn't have, because yeah, for and
Yeah,
he helped me produce so many different productions and so on.
yeah. I remember Dan Sawyer. I think I remember just in the later years met him a couple of times with you when we would stop by, and I remember him being a martial arts expert in karate. He was quite a ways up there in the was he
Yes.
second, third down or fourth down or something?
Uh, uh,
Right.
I think he was a seven.
Seventh down
Yeah,
karate. Yeah.
and he
Karate.
also, along with some of the other masters in the martial arts world, he always had a what you call uh, they had a competition, so to speak,
Yeah.
or here in Las Vegas every year, and
Tournament.
yes, a martial arts tournament, and people from everywhere came, uh, and yes, he was quite a very, very, very um, strong leader. He helped a lot of young people, just because uh, he shared his knowledge of the martial arts, and by performing and learning these martial arts tradition, these young people, they kept these young people from getting involved in
Yeah.
other things that they should. So that was really
I
uh,
think what was interesting, if I remember, through your connection with Dan, there was another connection made to another Polynesian group of performers, that being Uncle K, Kawanapohe, the Maori High Fives,
yes,
and I think that connection made through Dan and association with you guys, and then also other performing groups from out of the Philippines. What was the name of that group? Started in
society,
huh?
society of seven. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you guys, your hot lava, your groups, my uncle K Pohe, his group, the Maori High Fives, Society of Seven, just blew up in that whole era. Was a massive push of talent coming out of Polynesia.
hmm. Well, speaking of the Mari Five, those uh, they were actually before um myself uh, here in Las Vegas, and not only were they uh, great performers, but they also were great entrepreneurs who opened up several businesses here in
Mm,
Las Vegas. And yes, they they work, and Dan Sawyer was involved in bringing a lot of those different cultural groups, as well as performers from the Philippines, from Korea, from Japan, the
yep,
Happy Coast from Japan, the Kim sisters, the Kim brothers from Korea, and of course from New Zealand, and from Hawaii. Just a lot of, and Dan Sawyer was involved in that, and
Yeah.
I am always grateful for that, and I mean, my myself, just like I said, things do happen in your lives, and you're in a certain in a present. You're in the present now, and you look back and say, "How did I?" You know, so I don't know what you call it, fate,
Yeah.
or you know, but
Well, let's just say, when I came to town, I first stayed with Uncle K, and he took care of me out there in Boulder City, and I would go back and forth from Las Vegas and Boulder City, and I went. The first thing I did was I went to go and visit the Hawaiian restaurant there
mhm.
that Paul used to own down there in Henderson. What was that restaurant called again?
Aloha girl, or no?
Aloha Grill. And I was told to go there and ask for your name. So when I got to town, I see Uncle Paul. And Paul, yeah, you know where Runi is. He goes, oh yeah, Runi, he come here and he has poke all the time. So
That,
um,
that
so
that was the easy place, Yeah.
yeah, and so I was starting to go, okay. There were if I can say, if you talk about fate, if I can say, there are many reasons why we, in many dimensions and on many uh, thoughts processes and realms of reality, that we come to be into to certain places. I understood that all the years of my travel was a mission of mine to be sure to connect to our family members all over the world. So I was on my mission, journeying and connecting through this talent that I had, and then also holding strong to the culture of which I came from and I'm a part of, and then also connecting to the extended family through that understanding. If you will call it fate, and I will say, okay, yeah, let's just say our family has laid the pathway for us. Our family being our extended family, all the tribes and the our peoples of, let me say, Lemuria or Mu, and the peoples of Mu had laid those breadcrumbs. You had laid these breadcrumbs. And so when I was on my journeys through all across through the Americas, and I was doing the Waidua work
Mhm.
all along the way over the years. Waidua work, sweet sweet dear ones, is referring to the light work, energy work, and healing work, in whichever way that took place. However that took place, however it took hold, where I got to land, and whether some things were absolutely synchronized or not quite aligned, didn't matter. You were going to land somewhere where you had to figure it out. But there was always a family member of our extended family there to guide and help guide along the way. And this is, if we call that fate, let me just say, I'll go beyond that and call that family, and that connection to our journeys as ancient peoples, as the ancient elders had laid the breadcrumbs. Let me say for us, and so I was following breadcrumbs, and there was probably a bowl or two of poke and along the
A
way.
little a little green banana and some taro once in a while. Well, that was that was one of the most. That's the beauty of our culture, and for where we come from, it's that family unit. And whether you are first cousins or some, 10th, or just because you're part of the village that you come from or the islands, someone was always there to pick you up or help you, get started wherever you land. You go. I left Hawaii, came to California. I stayed with my cousins, and when I came to Las Vegas, I didn't know where or who I was, but you know, I had one passion that I had was the entertainment, and doing those our cultural shows, our islands performances, and somehow there was always another family member, an islander, to take us in on on the Sundays or whatever. They feed us, they housed us until we were able. And that I am so thankful for that part of our culture and our island upbringing, that I just hope it never stops. Because the world it's a little, it needs a lot of light in times today, and the light is there. Sometimes we just don't. We're heading in the other direction. We're not listening. But I like when we met, we connected because of that, of our family and our cultural upbringing. That's what it was. And yes.
So, yeah, and just amazing, because this is our way. And, sweet, sweet dear ones, sweet, dearly beloveds, the audience here, all of those who are joining us here, this is the way of, if you would say, the new earth today, the new world, or the new earth today we are being in today. This is an ancient understanding. It's an ancient new world. We remind everybody that when we return to the family this way, and we see each other, that the village raises the children. Doesn't matter your birth family, if you want to say biological family, or you want to say biological mom and dad, not, or you want to say the adopted parents. Whether you're Maori or Samoan, or whether you're from Iceland or Germany or nowhere, we remind everybody this is our family, an extended family. I used to say, Matua, that from the fair skin comes the dark skin, from the dark skin comes the fair skin, you know? And so it doesn't really, it's all going to return back to the same. And this is what's happening in the new earth. This, my understanding and the work that I do on a regular basis, is that we are returning back to the time before the confusion. This is the new earth. The new earth is the time before the confusion, before we were separated, before this caused so much confusion to our lives in these past thousands of years, even, and even sitting in this modern time. So why I brought us here to speak into this theme of the ancient ancestors is that with yourself, Matua, Tuakana Matua, and for my audience, I speak to Chief Runi Tafeaga as Tuakana Matua, who is also my elder brother father, because we haven't stopped doing things. We haven't stopped connecting. We will always be connecting, and it's like the elder brother is always showing the younger brother, or sometimes telling him to go away and do something else until he's got something, and then I show back up again. Hey, I've got something over here. What? Maybe this can help. We can help each other, like we have always done.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm telling anybody something that they don't already know.
Yeah.
But what I'm feeling is that the new world is not about something that is outside of our reach. The new world, Earth, is within our grasp and always has been.
Yes.
If we can return back to this understanding of our tribes, and picking up the breadcrumbs and following each other, we always followed each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me, I've got the picture that you sent to me. I'm going to see if I'd like to bring it and share it on the screen if I can.
Okay.
It's a wonderful. Let me just see here. Now, sweet, sweet dear ones, sweet dearly beloveds, let me just show you some of the things that this wonderful, our wonderful father, brother, has brought to us over the years. If you can see this image right here of some of the work he's done. This just amazing work that you've done over the years, Matua. And if you have questions, again, everybody, just if you want an answer to your question, remember you have to come up on the screen and reveal yourself. We have to be seen, and we need to see each other now. But this image here, just us, all the young performers back in the day, and maybe even that's still available today.
Speak, yes. just a little. What you most of you folks are seeing on the screen here is a poster of our Polynesian show. Now, I come from Samoa. Uh, Huna Flash here comes from New Zealand, and we are all in our what we know and told. We are part of the Polynesian group of islands, and they number in the thousands. But they're mainly, I think, the most popular the islands is Hawaii, Tahiti, New Zealand, which is the home of the Maoris, where Huna Flash is from. So we perform the different dances of our Polynesian people. And includes the fire dance and the Tahitian dances, the Maori hakas and poi balls, and all of these. And we perform these in the summertime, usually in Las Vegas. And we have traveled around. We perform in Canada, in Japan. We've even been to South Korea and so forth, and even back to the islands of Hawaii and Tahiti and so forth. And so if you're in the neighborhood vicinity, stop by. And if you have some questions, we'll try to answer the questions. And through these dances, Huna Flash, and songs, I have learned so much about myself that I did not know, prior to that. Most of what we learn about the islands are actually books written by mainly Europeans that have visited the islands and so forth. And so, but my experiences growing up in the islands, plus what was written, really helps and makes it so much more meaningful for myself, and then when you meet your islander brothers and sisters abroad in different places, when we go to Japan, there islanders there, and everywhere you go, even to Europe, and of course our cultures begin to intersect. Like myself, I married a young lady from Canada who's originally from Holland, and we had 3 sons who are in their, well, they are Dutch, Samoan, Chinese, so it's really quite an amazing cross section of ethnicity there. And I'm constantly learning. And then I find out that one of the first European to come to the islands of Samoa was from Holland, was a Dutch explorer by the name of Rogan Veen. So, these little things, we are, like you said, we are many, but we are one.
That's it. Exactly.
Many, but we're actually one.
Yes, Patua, that's exactly it. This is what Huna refers to. I know, and when I say Huna, there's something of Kahuna. This is not what I'm saying. Huna is also in the Mongolian language too. So it is a part of many languages, and the Hu part referring to the single human or humanity. Nga, as you know, means many. And so there are many in the humanity, and there's so much humanity in the one. And so we are a part of each other. You know how it goes sometimes. Our people are protesting that we have these visitors from all over the world, from Europe and that. And, I like to try to remind everybody that they are just trying to come home. They want to come home and visit, because at one time or another, they were also in Hawaii. They were also Maori. They were also Samoan. We have been everything. And the longer we push against each other like this, is the longer it's going to take for us to unify. But I know we're on the right path now. I've seen this, and speaking to your beautiful wife, Marietta, and him, your boys. I watched them grow up. I watched them skateboarding before they even had girlfriends. I knew them now, and now I see you at your son's house, and he's helping you with the call, Ty, and he's a wonderful man. They're wonderful men and wonderful fathers that you have raised there, and I'm so grateful to see them. I'm so grateful to see them helping you. That Marietta being from Canada, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter, sweet, sweet dear ones, sweet, dearly beloveds.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Interracial. What's that word? Where did that word come from? Interracial. Well, an extended family. This is what Lemuria is. This is the knowing of the understanding of our world before confusion. And that's why I talk about before confusion. Now, I can go on and on, about these things because they became so political. And absolutely. So, what I would like to do, if any of you have a question out there, please, I'm happy to bring you on. Remember, you you have to come on to the screen here if you want an answer for your question. Love to get your questions. There's some wonderful comments being spoken, and people who live in Hawaii that are here now. Um, and so, if I can invite Huna Tamaake as soon as he sees a question pop up, if you can highlight that for us, and we can maybe go ahead and pick on that person. um, okay, so while we're waiting for a question, Matua, and your never-ending journey to share the culture and provide employment, as we were speaking of, all the young, beautiful people that, and not so young, like beautiful people that you've taken care of. Do you have any plans for this very next near future? Now that we're out of getting beyond the COVID thing, I understand that they are taking out the vaccine mandate, or they've begun to in some places. Is there any new plans for hot lava for your productions?
Well, we're always in Las Vegas every summer. We do have our summertime luau, in the casino, specifically a place called Tahiti Village,
Yes.
and we perform all over, you know, um, and of course we have some other things that we're trying to work with a group of people in Florida, uh, and also uh, you know this year for the first time we're trying to uh, also work with some people from Hawaii, to house a well, you might call a permanent, where we don't do one or two, but at least six performances a week, 6 nights a week, and try to keep it there for a while. So we're just exploring everything we can, as well as here in Las Vegas too.
Sounds good. Sounds like something I will connect to absolutely. We've got a person here, Kay, who just popped in here. Kay, you have a question? Please turn on your camera. Oh, they just bounced out. Kay, if you have a question and want an answer, you have to bring yourself back here, if you don't mind. Yeah, speaking, and until that happens, speaking to this Florida, we talked about a four wall. So you're saying about doing. Oh, Kay's back again.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. Here's somebody with a question. Hello, Kay. Where are you from?
Hello. I haven't done this before, so I'm just
Well,
trying to figure it out.
we're so grateful, and you're brave to come on to the screen with us too.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Oh, I'm
um,
very, very honored to be on here with both of these elders here. Yes.
where are
Runi,
you calling from?
I am calling from Penticton, BC, Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, and Runi, I would love to hear some of your insights that you achieved through being in this Polynesian troupe. You said you learned a lot about yourself.
Before you answer, Matua, I remember when you were on tour one time, and I distinctly remember you telling me you stopped in at Penticton.
Yeah,
Maybe, maybe,
yes.
okay,
Yes.
maybe you guys know each other from
Oh
that.
my gosh. I actually just moved here from Ontario, but I
Oh,
would have loved to have seen you.
Well,
Yes.
you're
uh,
lucky. Matua.
Canada was was actually the first stop for our newly formed hot lava. You know, that was the
Wow.
first stop. We started in Calgary, and we performed at the Calgary Stampede.
Oh, yeah.
We also performed in Edmonton, uh, and we Penticton was another place.
Wow.
Uh, there was a little town. Oh my goodness, I forgot that. But they had a rodeo there, and we were also perform at the rodeo, and then we did a lot of Prince George, and
Okay.
also in Vancouver. Yeah, so we've been throughout Canada a lot on the western side. Yeah, and there was a. But as far as what I have learned about myself is that um, people have asked me why I'm still doing the shows and so forth at my age. Well, I find that it's it. I discover a lot of things as we learn new dances and new songs. I discover a lot of things about my culture, my islands, you know, and it just keeps me excited about it. And then of course for myself, uh, culturally, spiritually, and physically, it keeps me going. You know, it gives me a reason to get up and get out, and setting up all of this stuff and so on. And I just enjoy doing it. It seems like I'm not afraid of work. I've held down other jobs before, but there's something about doing and performing our luau shows, so to speak, or our cultural shows that is, and meeting people like yourself, asking questions, it helps us, you know, not only try to understand the question, but also try to understand some of those answers that we are giving, and making sure that we are not only being truthful, but just being accurate. You know, now we're not always perfect in the answers, but as much and as honestly as we can gather and research, we try to relay that information to other people. And of course, it was the greatest thing for me because that's how I met my wife at, at one of our performances. So
May, may I ask another question?
sure.
Yes, you do.
You sound like that's been a wonderful relationship with your wife. And what would you consider to be the deciding factor of a most fulfilling relationship?
Well, this year celebrates our 45th wedding anniversary. We
Wow.
we've been married for 44 years, and June
Wow.
6th of this year will be our 45th wedding anniversary. We have three
Mm.
beautiful young men. I sometimes hit myself and say, how did I do that? Well, I don't think it was me. I think it was more my wife. And I met the greatest human being that I ever met was my father-in-law.
Mm.
Uh, Unassuming, dinner, but he's example by being himself and just doing what he did, taking care of his family. He's the greatest to me, the greatest human being I ever met. You know, he yeah, he just lived it. And just uh, being able to look past your shortcomings.
Mm.
And my my wife has had to put up, because I sure have a lot of shortcomings, but she's managed to just hang on. And anyways, I can't I can't put into words how much uh, I appreciate her, and so forth. And I thank the good Lord for allowing me to meet her and having her in my life, as some of the other people do. Yeah.
Let me just add to that. I think it's also, so long as we're not around their house all the time, everything is good. Long as I'm not over there all the time eating out of their fridge, it was always.
Oh,
That's what we like to eat, eat. Yeah. No,
Yeah, well, we would go and eat sometimes, and you'd be looking for us.
yeah.
well, thank you for your wisdom, both of you.
Well, thank you for coming on and asking. Yeah, because that's how we learn, by asking and being open to others. I think sometimes we live in our own little bubble so much that we
Mhm,
can't see what is really going on.
mhm.
So, and I thank Kuna Flash for having me on today, because it's great to share that. To share my story with your story and everybody else's story, so that we can
Mhm.
make for a great novel, or a great. Anyways,
Thank you, Kay.
Thank you.
thank you, Kate.
Don't be afraid to come back and ask another question if you can think of something. We'll be still here,
Okay.
no doubt, for the next half an hour.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Um, yeah, that was absolutely. We often talk about the a lot of the conversation in the spiritual community, Matua, is about you know visitors from outer space and the idea of multiple dimensions and the idea and the understanding of activating our higher senses and our higher spiritualities and all of these things, which is taking place, and it is taking place. It has become where it's taken over the conversation as well. But as you're sharing about these very simple things in our daily lives, like the as you are inspired by your father-in-law, and as I was inspired by you and many others and my elders, that it comes down to those very simple things of sharing and being together, which is, and I'm beginning to learn these as well in the work that I do all over the world, is that it comes down to just being there for somebody, being there for each other. This is the new world. This conversation. That's why I created the Huna Flash TV, is to have these kinds of conversations, to bring all of that the huge blustering words and stories that are so far out, all these huge far out words and stories, and then bring them back into the very simple conversation. And we have Randy here. We can bring on to the screen here. Hi, Randy. I think I've seen you pop in before, haven't we?
Yes, I have one time.
Good to see you again, though. Thank you.
Yes, it's good to see you too again, my brother. Aloha.
Aloha,
Um,
Randy.
aloha.
So, listen, I'm into drumming and music and everything. I see your speakers in the background. And anyway, I came across a CD a few years back at the library about ancient Hawaiian drumming. And it was just Hawaiian music, just back before they even had stringed instruments. It's the music that was handed down, possibly through generations and generations. And I was just wondering if you, Ronnie, are familiar with that, or do you
Yes.
guys still touch on those basis,
Yeah,
old traditions of playing the old songs?
absolutely. You're lucky to have an expert on those instruments right here with Matua. Go ahead, Tuakana.
Well, as far as percussion, the islands, the different islands in drumming today, but in the early days, it was a very basic, instrument. Most of our drums, according to what I was told, were made from things that we found in our backyard, and we took the trunks of trees and covered them. Most times, they said, with shark skin, and of course, the sharks got too smart for us. I mean, that shark in Jaws, he was smart. I mean, and so our drums are made from wood, wooden drums that we hollow out. We cut the branches of trees and hollow out, and they have different names, in the different islands, but they basically were very simple in the days. They were just being beat with a stick, and today those drums are very popular all over. Their influence is more Huna, more
The Cook Islands.
yeah, the Cook Island and the Tahitians,
Yeah.
and they're kind of drumming. The Hawaiians have more of what we call a pahu.
The Pahu.
And it's a drum that it's like a tom. Is that what you would a floor tom?
A floor tom sound with a higher pitch,
Yeah,
a medium level frequency. Yeah.
Like a djembe?
Like a djembe, but lower frequency. Yeah.
Yeah.
but no, it was just like an African drum that is just made and covered with a leather or some kind of skin. We also had a drum that was made from a gourd plant. It's called a ipu.
The ipu.
I mean, yes, the ipu.
Yeah.
And we would hit the bottom. It was a natural fruit, I would say, but it was a gourd, and you take out the whatever is inside there, and it was natural. It had a natural shape and hollow inside. So when you took out all the seeds and things that were in there, and then you would dry it and you would hit it with your hand, and those were some of our drums. And the drums and the percussion today are just very exotic because they got some Western influence, so to speak, and it's more like a samba. Huna Flash, he plays almost every instrument imagined, so he knows a little bit more. I don't know how to explain it as well, but
Randy Motua, he's just being a little bit modest here, but he played a toy there like a mofo. Let me tell you, he'll play the bass drum and he'll play the toy there. And the toy is a wooden drum that's hollowed out, kind of in a way where the Swedes will hollow out a trunk. But this in the islands and in our way is for thousands of years. We've been playing. They're different size trunks and the different tones, right? But Matua here, he's been doing this drum and this drum in the shows for as long as we've been talking, like 40, 50 years. And this is called the toy. Now, it's an incredible drum because it lasts such a long time. There's some really relic drums that have been around for hundreds of years that are still holding up the sound. So this is the wooden drums. And then oftentimes when I would be in the show or performing with Matua there, he has his little seat, do you still have that little stool you sit on? I don't know how he can sit on this little stool. This little stool he sits on, he's got a big bass drum with one hand banging the bass drum. He got another hand over here banging the toy drum, doing triplets and 64th beats with all this integrated syncopation. Incredible syncopation. And if you listen to a symphony or a symphony of the Tōerea drums, even from the Cook Islands, Tahiti, especially Cook Islands, Tahiti, Samoa. Wow. I mean, it is so incredible. The syncopation, the story behind the dances and the performers that are so in sync with the incredible, high speed tempo rhythms with incredible syncopations and synchronicities with them. It's an incredible performance. Yeah, there is. Let me just share also with the drum now. We are an ocean-going people, right? And I'll just share a little bit about how much of an ocean that we are, ocean-faring people we are. We have been, of course, we talk about Lemuria and we talk about Mu, our people. And I've learned these things in the travels I've been doing, but also known in our history. We have traveled the world for thousands of years, thousands and thousands of years. We have seeded so many our DNA into so many people, even way over there in Damascus. They have our bloodlines within their lineage. This is long before it was ever called Africa and long before it was ever called the Middle East. Okay. And the languaging of that wasn't even Damascus at the time. This was Lemuria, a civilization of Lemuria. And we traveled from what you know now as Polynesia, which is Lemuria 1, traveled over to Lemuria 2 and 3 over the civilizations, seeding the people along the way. The latest iteration of our DNA is seeded into the Peruvians and the South Americans, which have our DNA inside of them. And all these journeys of these different musical instruments along the way, drummed and so on and forth, are influenced, a strong influence by our knowledge of sound, but journeying on the ocean. Now, what do I mean by that? The sound coming from traveling along the ocean? Because our canoes, right? Our canoes, especially the fully carved canoes. There's an ancient canoe called the Takitimu or Tasitimu in Samoa. This canoe was reinvented over thousands of years. The same name carried throughout thousands of years of generations of the tribes, reiterating the newest iteration of the Takitimu. I'm a member of that canoe. So is Matua, so many of the tribes. That canoe journeyed for thousands and thousands of years and was always renewed. How was it renewed? By breathing life into the canoe through the sound, through the drums, through the songs, through the dances. That the Takitimu canoe would legendarily make it to this modern world we have today. And what it brought with it and what it held within it is, if you look at specifically the Maori version of the Takitimu in the last 2,000 years, it was a fully carved canoe that held up to 200 warriors. And that canoe has carvings along the side of it and at the stern and the bow, huge stern and bows that reached up 8 to 10 feet off the canoe, which had the maps of stars, had the maps of locations and formations on the Pacific Ocean all the way over to Africa and back again. And those and the songs, so the what we call the urungi, which is the navigators of the canoes, and they also had the masters who would beat the drum and give the rhythm. Those drums and those rhythms depicting different locations along the journey and the dances and songs that go with it. I learned this, as well as learning that those songs and dances were part of the sounds from the whales and the dolphins. Okay, so when there was a short drum, very quick beat, very high tone, this was the dolphin. Right, very deep drum, very deep, very long notes, this was the whale. And these and the songs and the dances coming right from inside the drum to the body, to affect the body, to connect into the dance and the actions to the cosmos. If it was a cloudy day, then you would be working with the waves and sound vibrations on the water. If it was a nighttime, it was the stars. If it was a bright sunny day, it would be holographics, where the light would shine right through the canoe's carvings and hit the water. And then you would use the map on the canoe coming from the holographics off the canoe hitting the water and pointing it in certain directions. This is about us being an ocean-faring people. This technology, this is a technology I'm talking about, and that also included in the drum and the songs. You see, there's a whole nother mystery school here of our journey, especially concerning the drum, the songs, the dances, and the ability to breathe life into our canoe, our ancient starships, which were our canoes. They represented our starships. In fact, New Zealand is a canoe. The South Island of New Zealand is spoken of as Te Waka Maui, which means the canoe of Maui. So all the information that is breathed in from the understanding of Waka Maui is to breathe life back into the culture and all the songs and the dances there within, not just for the Maori, but also all across Mu and all across the journeys. So that's a little bit more of where your quick question was so simple, but it's not so simple.
Well, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. That was really cool. And it would be just incredible to be able to sit into a circle with you two and just listen to you play and try to pretend I can play, keep up.
Oh, no, you know what? We make things up as we go along, Randy.
Well, that's what it's about, right?
Creativity. Yeah.
Randy, are you a drummer or
Oh, I pretend. I have several drums, but I don't practice enough. But I used to play in drum circles and with my friends and stuff. It was mostly African djembes. So
Okay.
We will have another call in the coming weeks with other experts within our family. With Henare George, who is a cousin of mine, who's also worked with Runi, and another brother of ours, Willie. So Willie Leleua. These are people who are experts with the drums, the specifics. We'd love to have a call with them, and some of our sisters, maybe a matua, to have Tiffany and some of them come on and speak to the hula. And maybe we can have a fun time with just a whole Polynesian community right here from Lemuria, right here with you all. That would be fantastic. I think we can arrange that.
that would be great.
Randy, just one quick thing. So for us and for myself, a lot of these things that we found out just by playing these instruments, we didn't understand when we were much younger, but as we are involved in it now and finding out what all these instruments and all of these cultural dances and so forth, that there's so much more than just a drum, and
Oh yes.
every beat of the drum had a meaning, and every meaning had emotion and so forth. Every dance had a specific story that they were telling, and that's how we kept our culture alive, through our music and through our dances, because we had no written alphabet, no ABCs or anything as such. So our culture and our music through instrument as well as vocals, that's how we kept it alive. But thanks for asking, and thank you.
Oh, no problem. It's just amazing how when you get older, you get so much more wisdom.
Yeah.
But just one quick thing before I go, when I was younger, I used to work at a radio station, and there was a young man that was a security guard who was a Samoan young man, and I really wasn't. He's one of the first Samoan people that I had ever met and come across, being a young man myself. And anyway, he used to come and hang out at the radio station. And one night I brought a Cornish hen, and I was very hungry. And he came and I offered to share it with him. And he goes, "Oh, no, brother, go ahead." He goes, "I'll just eat the bones." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Well, thank you again for asking and sharing that with us. Yeah.
Oh, no
Randy,
problem.
where did you where'd you call from again, Randy?
Oh, I'm actually in Idaho now, but I'm originally from California. So, yeah. Okay. All right, brothers.
Thank the people in Idaho, and we'll see you again, Randy. Thanks for visiting again.
Oh, no problem, brother. Take care.
Thank you.
Peace.
You.
Just before we carry on here, Matu, I just want to recognize some of the people who are here. They're making some wonderful comments, and there's kind of a question coming out. But let me just these sweet dear ones that are here. Thank you for visiting, Teresa Kane. Yes, Teresa, you want to schedule a session with me? Just go ahead and send an email to office@hoh.earth. office@hoh.earth. Just send an email there and the office will reply to you. But thank you for being here, Teresa. Johnny Weiser, yes, you were born on the 18th of February. Yes, the birth sign in Lemuria or Mu is the hummingbird. So you are a hummingbird all the way to the 28th day. And then after that, you're into the next month. We calculate 28 days in each month in Lemuria from Mu in our ancient Polynesian calendars. Okay, so you are your birth sign is the hummingbird, which is spoken of as Tirani Mutu. Okay, hummingbird birth sign Tirani Mutu, which refers to the tiny voice from heaven, which is which once was February, which is now Tirani Mutu. Okay, Susan Kano. Yes, aloha and welcome. Thank you for being here. Louise, Helen, kia ora to you, Helen from Auckland. Tēnā koe, ki te pehe koe, e te wā nai nei, ngā mihi nei, tēnei wā. And I hope we see you here again. If you have a question, Helen, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Huna, Sarah, you're here too. Well, thanks for being here. And unfortunately, you can't make Cornwall. That's okay. We'll accept your spirit lovingly. Okay. Harmonious Huna, you're there? Yes. Wawa Huna, harmonious being. Wawa to you as well. Who else we have here? We have Wakuyare, yes, the one who is in charge of the office, Anawares, Huna is Wakuyare. So, and also Naomi, welcome here. Abby. And Abby, she's asking about, she would love to learn more about the Taulunga. The Taulunga, yeah, the Taulunga. So wonderful dance. Always enjoy the Taulunga. Maybe you'd like to share a little bit about the Taulunga, Matua?
Well, it's a dance that was usually reserved. The word Taulunga means topping off, and at the end of the evening, where there's special gathering, they top off the evening with this dance. And it was usually only allowed to be performed by the high chief daughter, called a taupo, or by the high chief's son, called a manaya. And they were the ones that were reserved the honor to perform these dances. Of course, later on, you usually have other dignitaries' children or were allowed to do this dance, and they performed it with a very special costuming, or so to speak. It consisted of a headdress, which is called a tuinga, usually made from hair of an ancestor, and it was special, and also reflection of the sometimes mother of pearl to reflect the stars above and the moon, but usually it pointed, and it had some poles that held these stars pointing up towards the heaven, and it was just a very special ceremonial dance that just was allowed only to be performed by high-ranking officials' children, or the next in line. But it is very.
I always looked forward to the Taulunga at the end of the evening. Some ceremonies and gatherings I'd been to. Sometimes I would be playing in the band.
Yes.
For the Taulunga. And certainly, I learned that I learned that better from you guys, and certainly some of our brothers and sisters of the Tuilaepa family in Colorado. Yeah, Tommy and and his mom and his brother Corny and all of them. So yeah, I absolutely loved performing it. And there was always this melody. There was this melody that always
Yeah.
it's a certain melody, right? That's in the Taolunga.
Yeah.
It's an incredible melody.
It's called an ingi. It's just that's a signature, just like the Hawaiians have their own signature
Mm.
intro to their songs. That's also the signature guitar intro to the Tawalunga song. And the explanation I'm giving is trying to simplify.
Mhm.
There's so much more than that, that I can't do it justice. But that is simply this, as simple as I can put it. It was a dance reserved for the daughter or the son of the high chiefs, and they call them matai, in Samoa. And today, when they perform these dances, usually people get up and donate money to signify their
Yeah.
It's still a very big part of
Mhm.
the culture today. The Tawalunga is the topping off of any event or any gathering. They do that usually.
Yeah. And they're always helping, always koha meaning to gift, and always helping to support the families that have these gatherings and events to help them get through. So whatever they need to. And so Abby, the Tolunga is always a great time at a Tolunga when you hear that. Let me just recognize a few others here. There, Sherry, thank you for coming. Fraser, Huna Maro Iata, who is over there in the UK. Wawa Nui Huna, we'll see you soon, I hope. Liz Walker, you're welcome. Fantastic to have you here. We also have Huna Huna Matariwa, who is the Quantum Co-Creations, and also there's somebody who is in Vegas too, Matua, Huna Mahari Waka Waka. Mahari Waka Waka. This is she lives. I don't know if she's still in Vegas. Are you still in Vegas? Maybe you want to jump on and say hi, Huna, or just if you want to connect to Matua there in Vegas. If you were back there in Vegas, this is Naomi, but she's known as Huna Mahari Waka Waka. Yep. Also, Susan over there in Wisconsin. Everybody visiting from all over the United States, and Susan there has memories of Lemuria. Okay, so gee, it's been a wonderful time here with you, Matua Tuakana. I'm going to, if we spread the word, and let's invite Henare,
Yeah.
and let's invite Willie, and maybe Tiffany, and maybe Kehal too, if she's in Hawaii. Kehal, maybe, because and maybe uh, geez, the ones that were performing with your group, and they can also add in. Be a wonderful gathering, reunion, reunion for us.
Yes.
And anything that I can do to support you, Matua, stay on with me after the call here, and we'll chat a little bit. But anything I can support you with, or if anybody would like to help donate to Matua's work that he does, please let us know. Send an email to office@hoh.earth, and we can direct you directly to Huna here. Sorry, Matua. Was also really a Huna. I mean, we're all Hunas, I just happen to say it out loud all the time. That's just me. But if you're willing to support his organization, Hot Lava, he's always teaching the young children, always teaching the youth, and bringing them off the streets and doing all this wonderful work, expanding their life and creating moments for themselves. And this is why I'm so honored and so proud that Tuakana Matu is here with us still. And we still got some rock and roll to do, baby. Yeah, we just got things to do here. All right.
Well, excuse me. And Huna Flash, likewise, if there's anything that we could do to help You know, we are here as we said earlier. You know, we are many, but we are one. We all are from the same, you know, and looking for the same thing. We just want to be able to help each other and live peacefully and happily, you know, and appreciate all the many blessings that we have. You know, there's so much around us, and sometimes we get lost in the hustle and bustle of, you know, of everyday life. You know, just trying to survive. But you know, help is all around us. You know, and
Yes.
people like yourself and all your people that you are connected with there. We, you know, we are all there for each other, and whatever we can do, a place to stay for a night or so, just for a night now. You know, whatever we can do, just to chat, you know, just say hello. We Yeah, we're here, and that's, you know, we sometimes forget that, but don't ever forget that, because and it's so great to be able to talk with you here, Una, and your and all your audience there, and everybody that's listening in, the dear ones. Um,
Yeah.
thank you for having me.
Malo. Let me just recognize Huna Kasataha from Iceland, the giant lineage of Lemuria. We call him the giant father. We are going to be bringing the Burning Mask events back again starting this June. June, July, August, September, October, and November will complete here in Mexico. I'm going to work on the details so at some stage where we can have Hot Lava or a part of Hot Lava with us performing at one of these places, if not more than one. We will also be in Canada as well. We're working on our Canada locations. So we're going to be doing 6 countries for Burning Mask, and it will begin in Iceland there with Huna Kasataha, the giants of Lemuria in Iceland, and connect more, and then connect you to Okanamatua, and just keep on connecting our family together everywhere I go, and I know everything that you do. So malo for that. Wah. Uh, we have discovered a new sound, Matua, which is wah. Um, in in uh, in I think the Cree language or the Anishinaabe language, I think wah. What does that mean? What's that? Fry bread. And then you have the language from the, oh yeah, egg. There you go. It means egg, fry bread. I just want a fry bread. But wah means egg. And then also we have understood that the duck who speaks wah is really saying the sound of love. And so we understand wah to be love. And so much love to you, Matua Tuakana, and our audience, the sweet, dearly beloveds. Much love to your children and your sons there, Matua. And my love to Marietta and everybody. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Malo, in the language of Samoa, fast or fua, which you can remind us what that means, Matua.
Well, goodbye, and may you live long. Yeah. So far, goodbye, and so for live live well or live long. You know.
Long life to you.
Yeah.
In Maori, it means long life to you as well. So we'll see you again, dear sweet, dearly beloveds. Wawa.